Coming up next, people are ghosting their employers. We'll break that down, and you're not going to believe this. A CEO fired 900 employees over Zoom. And, of course, we take your calls, and it all starts right now. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Ken Coleman Show, where we help you win at work. That's it. Whether that's finding a great gig or then taking that gig and making the most of it, overcoming challenging leaders and challenging coworkers, dealing with patience and delays, rejection, the whole 9 yards. If you want to win at work, to make the money that you desire to fulfill your dreams outside of work, we are here for you. It is a free phone call. If you want to get coached up, whether it's a specific situation you need some advice on, or you just need some counseling. I'm dealing with these feelings, Ken. This is something I'm trying to overcome. Help me, help me, help me. That's why I do what I do. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. You can also engage if you're watching live just after noon Eastern time in the chat room on YouTube just next to the video window. All right, so this ghosting thing is not just a Halloween deal. It's just happening more and more and more. Ghosting. Like, that wasn't even a term 5 years ago, I don't think, right? And now it's a term. And what does ghosting mean? It means you just literally, poof, disappear from whatever relationship that you're engaged in. They're expecting you to show up for an interview. You work for them, and then you just don't show up. Poof, gone. No communication. Just, they were here. Now they're not here. We don't know where they are, and we don't know why they're not here. That's ghosting. So we got some fun images here, and I'm just going to, for those of you who listen to the podcast, not watching on YouTube, I'm going to describe this. So the first image we've got, so Nathan's going to, we don't have the images quite yet. All right, so we'll figure that out in a second. So this is let me tell you why it's a problem. I'll teach on the front end of this, and then we'll show you some of the images. So guys, you just let me know when you got them, and then we'll throw them up. So why is this happening? Why is ghosting, the way I described it, why is it happening more and more? Now, some of you are going, well, I mean, just people are rude. People don't have any character. They just, it's the Generation Z. It's millennials. Yeah. All those things are true, but the real reason that I think ghosting is happening is because we've been conditioned by social media, specifically, technology, kind of as the broader reason, that we can just move on with no consequences. We can say anything to anybody on social media because they're not in the room with us. They're not going to show up on our doorstep, at least most of the time, right? And so we can be rude. We can be dismissive. We can ignore people. So think about this. If you 20 years ago were going to walk up to somebody and go, hey, stop by the office, just, hey, they're down in the lobby, or you set up a meeting with somebody, colleague, client, and you pitch them on something, well, they have to respond because you're looking at them, right? Hey, what do you think of this idea? Well, and they start hemming and hawing, or maybe they give you a straight answer, but you got something from them. Enter email, right? Hey, listen, I want to know what you think about this with this book. Would you have me on your show to promote my new book or whatever? This is what publicity is all about these days. And you can ignore somebody. You don't have to reply to the email. Why? Because they're not standing there in front of you. There is zero consequence in the real moment of the emotions that you're dealing with, the thoughts and the emotions you're dealing with in that moment as you scan that email. You can literally delete it, never answer them, and feel no real consequences. Now, if there's any relationship at all and you ignore an email, then there are consequences to that, right? But if it's just a general business transaction, and you cold call, leave a voicemail. Remember, we could add voicemail to this. Voicemail, email, and then social media. All of these things have removed the human-to-human interaction. That's the point. And I'm not anti-voicemail and email and social media. I'm just saying we have been conditioned now to not have a human-to-human interaction. And so submitting a resignation letter, talking to a leader about something that you're upset about that may make you feel like, all right, I may or may not leave this job based on this. In the past, the only outlet that we were conditioned for was the human-to-human interaction. As uncomfortable as it might have been, you were conditioned to deal with it human to human. But we've got full generations that have not been conditioned that way. And the conditioning is, well, I can kind of just lob what I want to lob out. I can ignore something because there is no eyeball to eyeball, kneecap to kneecap interaction. So that's what's at the source of all this ghosting. It's a natural behavior because there's really no emotional or mental consequence, because we just go, I feel this way, I'm going to do this, and I'm disappearing. And we think that we'll never see these people again. And many times that's true. We feel as though I don't owe them any interaction. And so that is at the source of the ghosting. Now, let me encourage some of you who may have done this. I'm not beating up on you, but I want to equip you on this. There's always a win, even if you don't see it in the interaction. By you taking the high road and being a woman, a man of character, and communicating what needs to be communicated the way it needs to be communicated is always going to be a win. And the takeaway is stop with the ghosting. And by the way, employers have done this, and now they're getting a little taste of their own medicine. I want to point that out, right? When people apply for jobs and you don't give them the courtesy of a response, that's ghosting too. Now, do we have the images, guys? We were going to show these. Do we have these? Okay, so let's throw one up here for our YouTube audience to see this. Just give you an example. This is from Dunkin' Donuts, and this is what the image reads for those of you listening on the radio and the podcast. It's a Dunkin' Donuts sign. It says, Dunkin', we are short-staffed today. Please be patient. If you run out of patience, ask for an application. I like that, right? Okay, here's the next one. This is from Burger King on the door. Sorry for the inconvenience, but we will be closing at 5 p.m. due to a lack of morale. Again, these are the results of people ghosting, not showing up. You know, and they're just kind of going, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. Let's throw the next one up real quick. This is from a Chipotle window here. You see it taped on the window. Closed. Half of our staff walked out, including the manager, and we are no longer able to remain open. It goes on to tell the delivery drivers, cancel your order and call your specific service. Yikes! This ghosting stuff is killing businesses. It's got to stop. This is the Ken Coleman Show. All right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. Thrilled to have you with us. 844-747-2577. Hey, I'm your coach as it relates to your work. Want to help you win at work, excel, get promoted, win big financially, professionally, income, impact. I want you to get the most out of your work. You spend so much time of your life at work. It needs to be enjoyable. It needs to be meaningful. And that's what we're about here on the Ken Coleman Show. I want to help you win, win, win. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Brisbane, Australia, around the world. Maria joins us. Maria, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
So I recently graduated law school, and I started working as a lawyer this past June. I was at the law firm for about 5 months, and then without warning, I got called into the with the HR person, and she asked me to come to a conference. I go into the conference room. I wait. The partner comes into the room, sits me down. Before he sits down, he looks at me. He goes, "I won't beat around the bush here. You're fired."
Wow.
And then, yeah, that was it. He asked if I had any questions, and I just felt, what's the point in asking anything at this point? Like, he's already made up his mind. And then I was told I had to pack up, leave, and I was out for the rest of the day. And that was it. And I was basically escorted off the property like I actually did something wrong.
What did you do, or what didn't you do?
The week before on the Wednesday, somebody senior to me had sat me down, and she said, "Look, he thinks that you're not getting it." And I said, "What do you mean you're not getting it?" And she just said, that you're just not getting it. So she was like, "Oh, I'm going to work with you. We'll spend some time together every day." And I said, "Okay, happy with that." But in my mind, I just thought, if he couldn't come to me and tell me that himself, obviously this isn't going to go anywhere. And I was listening to your show a lot more at this point because I was like, okay, I need to go and talk to him. I need to figure out what's happening here. But I noticed for about 3 weeks prior to that, he just stopped talking to me and he was ignoring me, and I didn't.
Yeah. So he quit on you.
I couldn't go in.
Yeah, he quit on you. Well, I think you got to learn a couple things from this. Number one, you should have asked more questions. And you've been fired, and the way you were fired is awful, and it sucks. And I'm sorry. I really am. But I do want to make sure that you catch something here. I really wish that when he had asked you, "Do you have any questions?" as shocked as you were, that although you did have some sense that he wasn't happy, the guy had stopped talking to you, and then he had another person, a female senior leader, come to you and go, "Hey, he thinks you're a guy." So there were some clues here. And I think you've got to know for yourself going forward, you got to be okay asking the tough questions and taking the tough truth. Whether or not, by the way, he was right or wrong about you, you got to know what's going on there. And so I will tell you, even the senior leader, what am I not getting? How am I not getting it? Because that's really important, because here's what's going on. As you sit here today, you're very confused, I'm guessing.
Well, so I got a little, after I didn't say anything to him, he did give me a little more clarification. And he said, "Look," he said, "we hired you because we had very high expectations." And he said, "I don't think your drafting is where it should be." But again, I graduated 5 months prior.
Yeah, you're brand new.
I don't know how. Yeah. That's it. I don't know how the expectation was so high.
Yep, I get it. Okay, so why'd you call me today?
Because I don't know how to approach this in interviews going forward.
Specifically what? That you were fired after 5 months?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look, I think that I don't think you make a huge deal out of it. You're applying to be somewhere else, and they go, "Hey, I see that you worked there for 5 months. What happened?" You go, "Well, I was hired out of school directly for drafting, and they just told me point blank that they had really high expectations, and because I was so new at it, that that they needed somebody with more experience faster, and I think they just lost." I mean, basically, what I can take from is they lost patience. I didn't do anything wrong. It's just they felt like they could teach me faster, and they didn't have a real place. I mean, you come up with something, tell the truth, but don't make a huge deal out of it. You know what I mean? And I think that at the end of the day, somebody's looking to hire you for what you can do for them, and I think you focus on that. But when it comes up, you go, "Yeah, it just wasn't a good fit." But I'm so glad, because they put me in a position that they had admitted themselves was unfair for me. That they high expectations, and yet they weren't realistic expectations. I think you just play it out like that, but don't make a huge deal out of it. It's not some stain you need to be worried about walking around with. It happens.
Okay.
Does that help you? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to address it, but don't make a huge deal out of it and start explaining it away. Just, it is what it is. And you would readily admit, I didn't get clear on what the expectations were either. They weren't clear. And so it just wasn't a good fit. So,
yep.
so we agreed to move on. You didn't do anything wrong ethically, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. And you know what else?
It just feels bad.
I know. And that's real. Can we just admit for a second it sucks?
Yeah, it does suck.
And it makes you feel like you're not good enough. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But is that true?
No, it just sucks.
I know. I know. So here's the deal.
It doesn't make you feel confident going forward or going to another employer.
No, but here's the deal. I understand, but I get it. But you have to now focus on what you can do, and your confidence will grow. You must focus on, here's what I can do. I am gifted. I'm brand new. I'm extremely, raw coming out of the gate, right? I'm just a recent graduate. I'm as green as it gets. But the good news about green is that means it's going to mature. And when you mature, the strength will come in. So you focus on what you're really, really good at, and you learn some lessons from this, and you go for the right fit. You do your homework. You're a lawyer, for crying out loud. Do your homework and make sure that you're applying in a really good place with a great fit. And here's the other thing. Make sure that you are leveraging relationships, connections, that will get you in the door to where you don't have to overcome anything. They already hear great things about you, and it is your reputation based on their reputation that gets you the interview. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, you got this. You focus on why you want to be there and what you can do for them and how they win. Make sure that you go to my website, kencoleman.com, and download the resume guide, because I want you, whether you use my resume template or not, I want you to read through that PDF. It's absolutely free. And I want you to really focus on the steps you can take as you fill out your resume and you think through the process, because we don't just give you a template. We show you, here's why we say what we say and how we say it on the resume. And that's going to become your elevator pitch. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right, you got this. Get your head up. Now listen, there are a lot of people out there that have been through what Maria's been through, or you're sitting there right now and you feel wounded. And the reason you feel wounded is because it was let's just call it what it is. It was an emotional wound when you're fired. So first we must realize that we've been wounded. And when we have a wound, we must heal the wound. We can't just kind of feel sucky for 3 or 4 days and then just try to distract ourselves. And by forward moving inertia, which I respect, just kind of throw ourselves back out there. But here's the deal. Because if you do that, you're walking wounded and you're limping and it's going to become infected and all the things. Let's go, okay, let's just deal with the fact that I was fired and I really didn't do anything wrong. I was hired improperly, put in a situation where it doesn't look as though I was given much of a chance to win or I wasn't surrounded enough to win, and it just is what it is. That's not all on you, and you've got to acknowledge that. And when you realize that that's not all on you, well, then you realize that you can keep winning. Get your head up, keep moving forward. This is the Ken Coleman Show. right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. Thrilled to have you with us as we help you win at work. Life is way too short for you not to win at work, which is going to help you win at life. You spend so much time at work. I want you to really enjoy it and really make some money. We're talking about income and impact, meaning and money together. I'm going to help you grow so that you can live your best life and make your best contribution. 844-747-2577 is the number to jump in. For those of you that are thinking about making the move, you got to connect with my friends at ZipRecruiter. Point blank, easy, free. 2 words. Ken, why should I fill out a profile and submit my resume at ZipRecruiter.com? Easy, free. Easy and free. Why is it easy? Because it's the number 1 hiring site in the United States, because of their technology and the way they match people to jobs. Once you fill out a profile at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken and attach your resume, they begin the process. Imagine you're not going to do this, but you could literally just sit and do anything you want to and know that they're out on your behalf, pitching you, matching you to job openings that match your resume, desires, and profile and everything, and they give you updates. When you get looks and likes and requests for your contact information, they put the company directly in touch with you. They are your recruiter. It's easy. It's free. It works. The best way to get hired, ZipRecruiter.com/Ken, ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Go. Again, I'm pitching you on a free service that happens to be the best. I don't know what you're waiting on. All right. Every once in a while, I see a headline that shocks me. And some of you are going, I see headlines that shock me every day. Well, I'm just telling you, nothing shocks me anymore. Very few things shock me. This shocked me. Let's get to it in the news. All right. This is coming from CNN, the headline, better.com, which, boy, is this ironic. Wait till you listen to this headline. Just let this one hit you and wash over you. Better.com CEO fires 900 employees over Zoom. Boy, that's ironic. The name of their company is better.com. Can we just say if you're firing 900 people over Zoom, you could have done that better? Can I get an amen out there, please? Holy moly. Okay, so here we go. CEO Vishal Garg, I don't know if I'm messing his name up or not, announced the mortgage company's laying off 9% of its workforce on a Zoom webinar Wednesday, abruptly informing the more than 900 employees on the call that they were going to be terminated right before the holidays. This is a direct quote. If you're on this call, you are part of the unlucky group that is being laid off, said Garg. Your employment here is terminated effective immediately. Wow. How many think that this guy needs a little bit more empathy in his life? I can't go any further because I can't imagine. If somebody out there watching this saw something else, this is unbelievable. Like, there's not a better way to do this from better.com. All 900 of these people have leaders. I understand it's 900 people, but you could break this up. If nothing else, if there were 40 people in one location, have all 40 people come in to their location and their leader, and then they feel a little sense of caring that they're all 40 getting fired at the same time. But to do it over a Zoom call, it gets better. He goes on. Listen to this guy. Having to conduct layoffs is gut-wrenching, especially this time of year, which is true. I don't want to, but this is the speech he's given. But he goes on about the balance sheet and all these kind of things. And then this one. And by the way, CNN viewed this. And this is the writer saying it was short and emotionless. I love this little nugget. After he's already told them, oh, by the way, you're all being terminated effective immediately. He says, this is the second time in my career I'm doing this, and I do not want to do this. The last time I did it, I cried. Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting us know that the last time you laid off people, you cried. Now, again, maybe he did cry. Good for him. But this is like the girl who broke up with me who cried. I've brought this up many times on the show. Why is she crying? I get it. It's hard to fire people. I've had to do it before. It's very hard. But can you have enough guts to handle it and think about them? He says to these people, that's the second time I've done it. Last time I did it, I cried. But this time I'm not crying. Hey, put this one in the horrible bosses file. The leadership fails file. And it has been reported, the Daily Beast, another media outlet, said in August that one of Garg's most loyal lieutenants received massive perks, such as millions of dollars worth of stock options that could be vested immediately. And then that person later was placed on administrative leave for bullying. So it feels like Garg's got some work to do over at better.com. And so I have no problem calling out horrible leadership because this is horrible leadership. Horrible. Absolutely, brutally horrible. Yeah. Everybody show up to the Zoom call at 9 a.m. At 9:03, the Zoom call's done, and 900 people have been fired summarily immediately. Oh, boy. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Joseph in St. Paul, Minnesota. Joseph, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Ken, good to talk to you. Thank you so much for making some time for me today. I really appreciate it.
You bet. We got about 3 minutes. So what you got for me?
Okay, so I recently had a Zoom interview where I did not get fired.
Good.
But I feel like I flubbed an interview question, and this is for a job that I really, really want. And I feel like it'd be a great place for me and potential. I'm living a dream scream type stuff.
Oh, how long ago was the interview?
It was a couple of weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago. But here's the thing. They did invite me back for an in-person interview later this week.
Oh.
So I would like to be able to kind of revisit that and, make things right. I'm not quite sure how to do it.
Okay, what was give me the question. Give me a version of the question.
I think it was something along the lines of, what does it look like to you to represent this organization professionally?
Okay, and give me your version of the answer.
Well, I think what they were getting at is this is a job that would entail having to go out in the community and make some appearances. That's not the hugest part of the job, but it's a part of it. And so I think they were kind of getting at, how would you basically conduct yourself?
Well, how did you flub it?
Because something went off in my brain, and I started talking, and I got about 2 sentences in before I realized, wait a minute, this is only tangentially related. This isn't like directly answering their question. So I was kind of bumbly, and I feel like I kind of talked around it, and I never drove home that main point.
Which is what?
But I want to say that basically whether I'm in the office or I'm out in the community or I'm out in the grocery store and, God forbid I make news for the wrong reason, that looks bad on the company, I think you should pretty much always treat people with respect. Look them in the eye, be polite, go the extra mile, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I would elaborate more on that, but that's kind of what I want to get at.
Yeah, great. So what did you say?
I don't even remember.
All right, so here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
I got great news. Great news is it didn't affect you at all. If it was as bad as it feels like for you, and I understand it's very personal, because you go, oh, man, I straight up fumbled the ball. They handed me the ball, and I fumbled it. Okay, I get it.
I was kicking myself pretty hard.
Yeah, I get it. And I'm telling you, let yourself off the hook, because here's the deal. They've put you back in the game. Just like running backs get a chance to go back in after they fumble, you're back in for the interview. I would not make a big deal out of this. It's almost like you would be calling attention to something that they clearly don't think it's that big of a deal.
So don't even bring it up if I see an opportunity, or even at the end where they give you a few minutes to ask them questions. Don't say, hey, I want to go back and revisit this thing from a couple of weeks ago.
No, I think maybe just go, hey, you asked me a question, and I remember at the time, because it's natural in the interview, I had a million thoughts, and I wanted to tell you what my answer is. Here it is in a sentence, and I would be proud to represent this company this way. I'd leave it at that. Real smooth, real nice, thorough, but not super insecure and too neurotic. You don't want to overthink this and overact this. You got this. This is the Ken Coleman Show. All right, folks, welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show, where we help you win at work, which, by the way, if you're winning at work, it's going to help you win at life, and vice versa. If you're winning in life, it helps you win at work. And that's what we want to help you do, whether it is trying to figure out what it is you want to do with your work and your life. You actually want to get it and beat the competition, right? And then you want to move up the ladder and do it well and max out your contribution, which is going to help you make more money and experience more meaning. Wherever you are on that journey, that's what we're here to help you do. 844-747-2577 is the number, 844-747-2577. Okay, so what happens when you go one direction coming out of school, right? You went and you got a degree in this particular area, okay? But for whatever reason, life throws something at you and you go another direction. And then later you realize, oh, I think or I know I want to go back in that direction. Is it too late? Have you screwed up? Are there bigger hurdles? It's very interesting. Happens a lot. Justin's on the line in Atlanta, and I think that's his story. Justin, why did you call me today?
Hi, Ken. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. So why'd you call? What's going on?
So exactly what he explained. 5 years ago, 5.5, I graduated, but I had to move. I moved countries and continents, and I'm in the States right now. And I couldn't work in like what I graduated. So right now I'm starting to think like I want to go back into it, but I might have some opportunities to work, but I'm thinking how to explain that 5.5 year gap, or how to approach this.
Well, I think you just explained it. You broke up, your phone broke up, but it sounds like you went to school or university in another country.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
yes.
and so then, you move. Yes,
I moved into the States, and I had to work whatever I could find just to support myself. Now that I'm in a better position, I'm trying to find
in the States?
Go back to work. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So here's the deal. And I'm not questioning you to put you on the defensive. I'm truly trying to get to the source of this, because this is going to, I think, really deal with what you're really asking. Because I think you're insecure, you're nervous, you're worried what people are going to think because you got a degree.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, great. So here's the deal.
Exactly.
Then we just need to tell the story and let your story win. So why did you think, or why did you know that 5.5 years ago when you moved to the States, you couldn't do the work in the field that you studied in college? Why couldn't you get a job in that field here in the United States?
I didn't have the papers for it.
Very simple. That's not your fault, is it?
Sort of.
Well, explain that to me then. We got to get to the bottom of this. So what do you mean you didn't have the papers? You didn't have a green card or what?
I didn't have a green card.
So you came over illegally?
No, I came illegally, but I overstayed my visa.
Great. So again, why is that your fault? Because you kind of chuckle. Could you have done something better to get the visa faster? Or tell me what you could have done differently that would have allowed you to work in the field that you want to work in.
Honestly, at that point, nothing, because everything happened so fast. I couldn't do anything else.
Why did everything happen so fast?
Because my visa was about to expire, and when I started to look into schools and everything, by the time I figure out what I have to do, I was already in I couldn't do anything anymore.
Okay, so the visa would not allow you to do the work anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, then, there's your answer. Do you have anything to be ashamed of, Justin?
No.
Do you have anything? Okay, then. So this is great news. Hey, here's the deal.
Yes.
I'm from, what country are you from?
Romania.
I'm from Romania, and I studied and got a degree in, fill in the blank. What is it?
Electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering. And so here's the answer.
Yes.
Here's the answer. But due to these circumstances, I had to move to the United States. It was best for me at that point in my life. And so now I had to do it. But because of the visa and the restrictions, I couldn't become an electrical engineer. There were some other things up in the air. And so that's what delayed all this. But here's the good news. I've been trained. I am qualified for entry-level electrical engineering. And so that's why I'm here. I want to do this work. I know I can do this work. You have nothing to be ashamed of, man. That's a great story. It's either you're qualified or you're not. It's either you're worth being bet on or you're not, and you are. They don't care about your story. They care about whether or not you can help them. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
All right, folks, helping you win, win, win. You know, I think, isn't it a DJ Khaled song? All I do is win, win, win. My kids will be so embarrassed that I even tried to reference a current artist. But I'm not an old guy, all right? I got 3 teenagers. They get irritated when I make any cultural reference at all, as though I'm not allowed to be aware of something. But I think that song goes, all I do is win, 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 something like that. So all I do is help you all win, win, win. How about that? There you go. And now I think that Alex, the producer's embarrassed because he's a hip guy, too. He's very hip. I mean, you look at Alex, the producer, if you folks ever come here to watch the show, you look in the control room, he's kind of back behind. There he is in his flannel. He hates any attention at all. Look at that guy. He's got the cool earrings. He's always got the cool flannel shirt. Like, he's just cool. He wears cool skateboarder shoes, all the things. And he's younger than me. So Alex he's kind of like the weather vane as to where I start talking about stuff that's like culturally relevant or not, because he's like, oh, geez. So it's nice to have teenagers in Alex. Love you, bro. You're great. By the way, he's doing a killer job. We've got some fun, exciting stuff coming. Hey, when am I going to get to tell people about the fun and exciting stuff, Alex? Soon? He's giving me the thumbs up. Very soon. Okay, great. All right. Let's go. We're going to help some more people win. Trey is joining us now. It looks like Trey's got a fork in the road, maybe. Let's see. Shreveport, Louisiana. Trey, why'd you call me today?
Hi, Ken. Thanks for having me. And, yeah, I would say I'm a fork in the road. I'm calling today because I'm looking for career advice on 2 potential job opportunities I have offered to me. I'm currently unemployed, and I'm ready to get back into the game. And one of the jobs feels like the logical decision for me to make because it's related to my degree that I went to school for and my prior work experience. But the other job is a step down professionally, but I think it's a more comfortable job, and perhaps I can use that to pursue other things I think I'm more interested in. And I'm having a difficult time deciding between the logical and the emotional one.
Yeah. Well,
Choice.
That's really good because you've identified your head and your heart are having a wrestling match.
Yes, and that's something I struggle with quite a bit.
I get it. Hey, welcome to the human race. Nothing wrong with you at all. All right, so this is really simple. What is going to play out for you the best right now as just you? I don't want anybody else's opinion, including mine, involved. Which one, long term, based on what you know, is going to be the best move for you, long term?
The engineering position, I think, offers the most opportunity and the ability to get some more skills. Mm-hmm. So that sounds like it would help out long term. The other position would be more comfortable, and there's something that interests me in that and scares me with that. But I'm also, since I've been out of the game for a little while, I am kind of worried about, I want to make sure that I take like baby steps. I don't know if I'm ready to throw myself back in, I guess.
Well, no, that's a different question. So that's a whole different question. So the way you started it off, I said, why'd you call? You go, I got two decisions, and I'm torn.
Yeah.
But now I hear, I'm not sure you're ready to go into either one of them.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
Why?
I think.
Why? What are you worried about? That you're going to fail and be awful, and they're going to hire you and realize that you suck, and then fire you, and you're going to be homeless and live under a bridge? Is that what we're worried about?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the thoughts I have.
Okay, great. So what has to be true for that thought to come true?
A lot of bad things would have to happen.
Yeah. What are the chances of that happening?
Slim.
Yeah. So
for
again,
either decision.
Yeah, and I feel like the second option, that's a little bit less pay, I feel like that one actually takes some of the pressure off, in that it's going to give you some more experience and diversify your experience and your skill set, which really makes you more valuable, more versatile, and sets you up for a better future. Whereas the other one, you're just going, well, it feels very comfortable, but I don't want comfortability. Comfortability is disastrous. Because you know what happens?
Yeah.
Comfortable people end up starting to have a touch of misery and a touch of stuckness and getting in a rut before they even realize it. Then they call me and go, Ken, I've been comfortable for a long time. And I go, yeah, now you're miserable. And they go, yeah. So how big of a pay cut, how big of a financial sacrifice is it for you to take the second option, which is better for you long term? Your words, not mine.
Just to be clear, I think the so $20,000 probably the more comfortable option would be better in the sense of the comfortability. I don't think it offered me more skills and
No, I know
opportunities.
that. We've already established that. So
Okay.
a $40,000 hit is what the second option.
20,000.
Oh, 20. Okay.
20.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
So can you absorb that $20,000 hit? And that's the first part. The second part of the question is, how long before you would jump up out of that and you would make that money back?
I can absorb it, and I don't see myself doing anything more with that job other than using it as a platform to pursue other things I think I'm interested in.
Great. So it's a stepping stone. And so we do it for what, a year? Year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah, that's current. Yeah, that sounds about what my plan would be.
Great. And so in a year, you can step up and make that money back. Ideally, make the $20,000 or maybe more back, correct?
I would hope so.
Well, do your homework on that. How possible is that?
Okay.
So once you take option B and you get that experience, what does that position you for? And then if we were to move into those positions, what's a fair market value of pay so that you really know what you're aiming for? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you got this. Listen, there's nothing to be afraid of. So I'm going to ask you this again. What's the right move for you long term?
I think it's the option B, which would be the more comfortable position.
I'm confused. I thought we said option A was the more comfortable position.
I'm not sure.
Okay, dude. No, dude. Listen to me. The one where you take a little bit of a pay cut that gives you the experience, is that the right decision for you based on our conversation now?
Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Great. Okay. I didn't mean to confuse you. I know you're nervous. Option A, option B, doesn't matter. I want you to take the one that's going to qualify you for the future. Do you understand what I'm saying? So absorb the $20,000 pay cut. Cut your budget if you got to cut it a little bit. Go get a second job for a while or whatever to make up the difference. But that's the one I would take because it's giving you the best long-term viability. Great stuff. I love it. All right, let's go to the chat room. The reason we got to go to the chat room really quick, I love this when this happens. And so I can't help but address it. Gen XX said, comfortability is not a word. I know. But I say words all the time that aren't words. So thank you for pointing that out. I love it. I love it. When people go, oh, Ken, it's not a word. I get it. Comfortable is the word. And but you pointed it out. Good catch. But you know what I like? I like comfortability. And you know what else I like? I said this in a talk last year. My wife was in attendance. And for 30 minutes, I said systematize. Because we make jokes about that word. And so I was giving a talk. And I was talking about systemizing. And I kept saying systematize. right? It's like President George W. Bush and Dave Ramsey both say nuclear. It's not nuclear. That's not a word. It's nuclear. And I said comfortability. So a little bit of entertainment there. You caught me. Very, very good. Nice catch. And I got to give Gen XX the shout out for catching it. Comfortability is not a word, but it should be. And so you got words that aren't words that describe accurately what we're talking about. And so here's why I'm having some fun with that. Comfortable. Comfort is different than contentment. Boy, we have got to learn how to be content, because there are seasons where we are having to be patient and persistent at the same time. And contentment says, you know what? I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for where I am. That's contentment. Please don't mistake a spirit of contentment for being comfortable, which means I'm not willing to stretch. I'm not willing to work. I'm not willing to do. Hey, before I go, remember this: you matter. You have what it takes. This is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.
Thanks for listening to the Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.